So the ULX Tarik is actually the same gaming mouse as the normal Finalmouse ULX, just in sky blue. But here are my thoughts of the mouse overall, starting with the shape. And the ULX is exactly the same as the Starlight medium/small/large that came before it. It's available in 3 sizes, with the smallest being 31 grams, the medium being 35 grams, and the large being 39 grams, which is kind of the main draw of the gaming mouse overall. And shape-wise, it's kind of a very simple standard shape that is going to be quite familiar if you used a Razer Viper. It's kind of like a much shorter, smaller, and lower profile Razer Viper. And when I say Viper, I refer to the older Viper, like the Viper Ultimate and the V2 Pro. It's got a very low hump. It's got curves on the side that kind of gently go inwards that aren't too exaggerated, but kind of normal. It flares out towards the front of the mouse, and then you've got a very low click height with some grooves for your fingers to click. It's a very simplistic shape that isn't particularly special, and for my 19.5cm hands, it's really good for fingertip grip. However, it's a very small mouse, the medium version that I got here, and I think hands under 17.5 or 18 centimeters are going to be a good fit for claw grip, whereas hands above 18 centimeter long almost always will be fingertip gripping this mouse, unless of course you have very narrow hands that aren't very wide at all, which is the case of my friend who tried this mouse and actually has the same length hands as me, but he claw grips it reasonably comfortably because his hands are very narrow. This is definitely not a mouse you palm grip. Frankly, there are just much better options for palm gripping. The thing about Finalmouse though is that the shape has always been like decent for most people to use, especially if you get the right size for your needs. But the main draw probably will always be Finalmouse's technological innovations and material innovations. With the Starlight, it was magnesium alloy kind of thing, whereas with this mouse, it's carbon fiber. So 35 grams is extremely light. And before you ask whether you can notice the difference coming from a mouse that's already very light at 54 grams, the answer is absolutely yes. The lighter the mouse goes, the more significant each gram of weight reduction is, because if we're just talking percentage values, 1 gram when your mouse weighs 40 grams is a lot more than 1 gram when your mouse weighs 75 grams. And yes, you can notice the difference between this and any 50 gram mouse. If you can't, there might be a problem with your central nervous system. It's a super duper light, and because of that, the weight balance really isn't relevant at all. That plus the fact that this is a wireless gaming mouse that has performance that matches really any of the top wireless gaming mouse, if not trumps it, results in a mouse that feels feather-like, feels like you're almost just moving your hand around the pad with zero friction. This is an absolutely amazing feeling, especially if you're doing a lot of micro adjustments and tracking and a lot of small movements that are quick and very precise, and it feels really good. Now, if you're coming from a very heavy mouse, it will take a long time to get used to, maybe a couple of weeks of practice in aim lab. But the thing is, once you get used to a mouse this light, what I notice is that you significantly play better. You're able to flick faster, you're able to flick more precisely, and in my opinion, the biggest advantage of going lighter is really that it significantly reduces the strain the mouse has on my wrists and my joints, and as a result, I get tired less quickly and I can play longer, which is always a nice thing if you are trying to get better. So yes, the weight difference is noticeable. As for other aspects of the mouse, the clicks are decent. I don't really like them, I can't lie. I still prefer the G Pro Superlight 2's clicks over this, for example. They are a little too stiff for me, and there's a bit of sideways play and a little bit of looseness, which is really undesirable. But they're not deal breakers, since the main draw of this gaming mouse is really the tech that's involved. The scroll wheel is absolutely normal and nothing to write home about, and the thumb buttons are absolutely just normal. I think they have a little bit too much like sideways looseness for my tastes, but the thing is, it's just side buttons. They're not deal breakers, so I'm not really going to consider it that bad, especially when you consider the fact that it's a very lightweight gaming mouse. They probably didn't have that much freedom to put more structural or supportive material to really lock the clicks, the thumb buttons, and the scroll wheel in place and give them the best possible feel. As for internals, this mouse has a 3395 sensor. Remember, it was launched earlier this year, not recently. But the thing is, the 3395 is already basically a perfect wireless sensor, and the only advantages a 3950 might have is only going to be noticeable noticeable in the realm of power efficiency. It's also capable of 4000 Hz wireless polling, which is pretty standard now and getting a lot more standard as time goes on. It does come with the dongle in the box, but it does have 8000 Hz wireless polling rate lined up for the future through a firmware update, even though it's been a couple of months and Finalmouse still hasn't released an update. The mouse feet on the bottom are absolutely tiny, by the way, and if you're wondering about the grip of the mouse, like how's the finish, it's very heavily textured and there are holes. I actually found the grip of the coating or the materials to be good enough that I wouldn't want grip tape, which is a good thing because it comes with absolutely no accessories in the box. And for a gaming mouse this expensive, it's kind of a joke that it doesn't come with any sort of extra grip tape, it doesn't come with replacement mouse feet at the very least. It just comes with a dongle or cable in the mouse, which some might call minimalist, but I just call cheapskate. And last but not least, the build quality of this mouse. Yeah, it's carbon fiber, which is one of the stiffest materials in the world, but it is carbon fiber done through the hands of Finalmouse, one of the worst QC, worst build quality mouse brands in the world. So as a result, even the strongest materials will result in a mouse that is creaky when you press on it on the sides and loose. Look, I understand it's really lightweight, so they couldn't put too much material here, but the build quality isn't very inspiring, and I highly doubt this mouse will last for many years of use like our older mice. All in all then, should you buy the Finalmouse ULX Pro? Well, if you are a top level professional player and you feel like that weight reduction can actually help you perform better, like 100 Thieves Boost Deal, then maybe it could be justified. And if you are an enthusiast who just really wants to try the latest and greatest in material technology, experience what it's like to have a 30-gram mouse that is wireless and see whether it's really all it's cracked out to be, yeah, it's an amazing experience if you can afford it. The thing is, it's a very expensive gaming mouse with build quality that doesn't inspire confidence in its longevity, so as a reviewer recommending to the average consumer, I personally can't recommend this gaming mouse all that much because it's just too expensive. If you've got a lot of disposable income and it's not really a concern for you to have to replace this mouse in a year, people are already reporting of the ULX being broken on Reddit and stuff like that, then okay, fair enough. You're chasing the latest and greatest. Have fun. It is really one of the best technological gaming mice there is. But the thing is, Finalmouse seems to be pretty good at telegraphing the future of gaming mice, and by the looks of it, within a year or 2 years, almost every gaming mice would have caught up to the ULX Pro and probably be able to achieve similar weight, similar performance at more reasonable prices, and hopefully at that point in time, maybe better build quality. And with that, thank you guys for watching, like and subscribe.